there, and welcome back to another video from your favorite English school, English Solutions for Business and Life. Today we're going to be talking about the grammar part for your Global English book for you pre-intermediate students. This time we'll be covering Unit 4, so all the grammar aspects of this unit will be covered, and you have further questions or explanation. If you require further explanation, you can always refer to your English teacher in class. Let's start. Well, today's lesson is about the following. It'll be about future plans, predictions, promises, and references. We'll have fun in English class today. That's an example of using the future plan or prediction for the day. Let's begin. Alright, let's start with the expression going to, very common one. Let's just not forget that we always use the verb to be along with the expression going to, regardless of whatever, it doesn't matter what person we use. If it's we, she, Carla, Carlos, Alejandro, whatever. It is always going to be used going to. The only thing that will be changing is the verb to be. We have a set of examples. Number 1, we are going to travel tomorrow. Example number 2, she isn't going to buy that car. Question, are we going to work tomorrow? And a question word question, what are they going to do tonight? If you notice, even though we're using different types of subjects, well, let me change that. Different types of subjects, we always use the expression going to, and going to. And what changes actually is our verb or auxiliary, which is the verb to be, are, isn't, are, and are. Of course, if we're using I, we would need to be using then am. I am going to explain this to you, for example. Let's move on to the next part. Okay, well, the next one we have is will, and will is actually simpler to use. All we have to do is use it between your subject and your verb, or along with the verb and the subject, and you will have a future reference or a future plan. For example, we will have a meeting later today. Example number 2, she won't like this when she sees it. Example number 3 is a question, will it stop working if I do that? Example number 4, it's a question word question, where will you move to next? Well, sorry, let's go back a little bit. I'm a little distracted this time. Where will you move to next month? In all the cases, regardless of what it is being used, whether it is we, she, it, or you, we will always use the auxiliary will in affirmative or negative if it is needed. Remember that won't stands for will not. Let's write that down right there, will not. Will not is not commonly used. We normally use the contraction won't. There it is. And after that, we use our verb in simple form. Have, like, stop, and move. Or move to in this case. Let's move on to the next part. Now, we can also use the present continuous to talk about a future reference. All we need to do or to add in this case is either a context or time expression. Example number 1, we are watching a movie tonight. Example number 2, we're not getting free tickets this month. I don't really know exactly why I put a question mark in here, so let's erase it for now. Example number 3, are you doing anything tonight? Example number 4, what are you having for breakfast? Now notice that we always have the auxiliary to be. Are not, are. Yes. And since it's a continuous tense, we will always have a verb plus ing. Watching, getting, doing, or having. If you want to know exactly the difference on exactly when to use which, you can refer to your teacher in class. But generally, the present continuous for the future is when we are very sure that something is going to, or is happening in this case. So we normally don't use it for promises or something we're not completely sure. Let's move on to the next item now. All right, then the last one we have today is the future continuous, which is a combination of will and the verb to be, and then we use a verb plus ing. For example, I will be traveling tomorrow morning. Example number 2, they won't be buying any laptops anytime soon. Example number 3, will you be taking me to dinner? Now, two important elements need to be added. We have two auxiliaries. We have the auxiliary will and the auxiliary to be. Auxiliary will, be. Auxiliary will, and be. Okay? And one more time, since we're talking about something that is continuous, even though it is not exactly happening at this moment, it will be happening in the future though, we use a verb plus ing, traveling, buying, or taking. Once again, depending on the context or the intention, you will be changing between going to, will, present continuous, or will be. And don't forget that it's always important to know exactly when this is happening. So our future reference, such as tomorrow, in 2 days, next week, etc., most of the times is necessary since you want to completely convey that message to the person or the audience you are talking to. Let's move on to the next item. Now, the last one we want to cover is ability in the future. Now, ability, which normally is can in the present, needs to be changed to another thing, and the expression we use is able to. Let's write that with another color. Let's add some bluish. So able to, able to. We will also combine it with will be in all the cases, and we use it for all the persons: I, he, she, we, you, or they. And basically what will be able to means is can, but we're not talking about right now. We're talking about a future situation or a future event. And normally don't forget that can or will be able to in this case is for an ability or an opportunity in the future. Example number 1, I will be able to buy that house if we save enough. In this case, save enough refers to putting enough money in the bank or in a bank account so that we have sufficient money to buy this house. So in the future, we will have the opportunity to acquire a house because, of course, we're going to save. Example number 2, he won't be able to go to med school if he doesn't study. Okay, so we can also use it in a condition. The condition is that if this person does not study, the result will be not being able to go to medical school or med school. So just like in future in negative, will not is changed to won't. All right, now we have now the questions. We normally do the regular inversion, yes, and the result is will they be able to finish the report? And another one, question word question, when will you be able to go? Yes. Don't forget that the order, it is always the same for all the questions. So once you get the order in your mind, and once you memorize it, and once you master it, all your questions in the future tense, in all forms, will be correct. Okay, some general notes about the future tenses or references. Well, first one is that you can use almost any future structure for most purposes. So in general, we can use will be able to, if we're talking about an ability. We can use will we can use going to, and we can use the present continuous for the future. Another note that is important, practice and experience will teach you exceptions. There are certain exceptions that you will find out about in the future, but right now we're not going to cover those. Alright, before I let you go, we have a tip for today, and that is regarding grammar. There are two types of grammar I could say that in pretty much any type of language. We're talking about English this time, so we have prescriptive grammar and descriptive grammar. Now, prescriptive grammar is what you learn in school, what you learn at English Solutions for Business and Life. You will learn about the subject, the noun, the verb, the correct order in affirmative, negative sentences, questions, etc. That's how you are supposed to speak or express yourself in the language. However, there is another type of grammar called descriptive. And this is how actually people talk. This is what people normally use. It doesn't mean that it is correct. And of course, you should always look forward to expressing yourself like this. However, if you ever find something that is descriptive as grammar, it's descriptive, something as descriptive grammar, don't feel bad, you can use it. However, just remember that it is sometimes wrong. For example, the difference between let's say he doesn't. We normally that this is correct in prescriptive grammar. We use the third person he, and we know that the auxiliary has to be doesn't. However, under certain circumstances and some people's background, you will find he don't. Of course, with a different accent or intention. And this is not, of course, this is not grammatically correct, but people use it very often, especially Afro-American people and some other in some areas. So always, once again, just to let you know, always try to use prescriptive grammar. This is the one that you want to learn, the one that you want to always express. Once we know this prescriptive grammar, you can move to here if you're in a more informal situation, or if you want to express yourself a little more naturally, or the way regular American people speak. Alright, thank you very much for your time. This is Emmanuel. You can always get in touch with me through the English director at English Solutions for Business and Life if you have comments or recommendations about the videos. So I'll be very open to whatever comments or suggestions you have about them. Have a great day. Bye-bye.